Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. Today I'm really excited because you guys have asked me a ton to show you how to do this, and we're going to learn how to do an offset or a shadow layer. Now I know they seem really intimidating because I am going to show you how to do this in Inkscape, but I promise you if you just follow along, you will be able to do this and master this in no time at all. They're really easy. And then I'm going to show you some of the new patterns really quick that they have at 651 Vinyl. So I'm super excited. They've got some new fall patterns. This really cool autumn styled plaid one is really fun. There is this really cute one down here that has hand-drawn pumpkins that's fun. They have buffalo plaid in a couple colors. I have the orange and the purple. We're going to use the sunflower pattern for our design today. And then these two I just got and they are pretty brand new. These are more of like a jack-o'-lantern pattern with the purple background. And then this one I'm really excited to do something with. This is green slime. So let's go over to the computer and I'm going to show you guys how to do the offset or shadow layer. To do the offset, I find it easiest to do it in Inkscape. And even if you don't use Inkscape and don't know all the technical terms, if you follow along, you can totally do this. So we're going to open a text box, which is this A with the little line here. And what you do is you click on the box, the screen. So I'm going to use a little cute sunflower quote. So I'm going to put be a sunflower, and if you want to do another line just like in Design Space, just hit enter, and I'm going to have stand tall, and I'm going to use the and sign, and we'll do face the and then sunshine. Now I want my text to be different. Like I don't want this font. So to change your font, you go up here. It's, again, very similar to where it is in Design Space, so it's up in this upper left-hand corner, and you just click on that, and it will bring up all of your fonts, and you can choose whatever font you want. I'm just going to choose something just sort of normal, nothing too crazy, and I know it's super hard to see, so right now it's really hard to see, so let me make it bigger. To make it bigger, you click on this cursor, that's the word I'm looking for, and you must hold shift when you make this larger, or it's going to get it all out of order, or it's going to get it all out of, like, I can't think of the word, but it's going to just get it all funky, and we don't want that. So you can double click on it again to open up your font box, and I didn't really want Hello Christmas, because it's got all those weird Christmas things in it, but I do want to use a script font, so we're going to just see if we can find something that looks really cute. We're not going to do anything too crazy with this. I'm just going to find, there we go. That one will work. That's perfect-ish. It'll do. So we're going to use this one. I hate the and, but it's fine. You can always change it out if you really hate it. But since we're just going to do this to show you guys how to do an offset, it's totally okay. So they're kind of far apart as far as, and you know what, now that I'm looking at it, I really dislike this font because it's kind of making them like weird, and I don't like that. So let's just see if we can get to like, see if we can use, let's see, I'm trying to think like, what's one I've used a lot that works really well when I do these? I don't think that one. Yeah, this one actually works really well. So we'll use this one. This is Liar Script. I got this, I believe, off DeFont. But, so what you can do now is you're going to select your font box. You're going to use your cursor here. And the first thing you do is go up to path, which is kind of in the center up here. And you need to change it to a path. So you have to select object to path. And think of path as like the way your blade follows along when you do, when you cut things. The next thing that we have to do is go up to the top, and right next to path, you're going to find object. And you're going to ungroup your object. Now this right here is when you can move your words around if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you are uncomfortable with it, don't worry about it. But I want them to be closer. So what you do is just like in Design Space, you draw a square around it, but you need to make sure the square fully covers everything that you want to move. So I'm just going to move everything a little bit closer. There is this little weird thing over here, and you need to unselect it because what it does is it enables snapping, which means that it's going to try to put your entire design like together and touching, and it's super annoying. So turn that off. I always turn it off. So I'm just going to make this so that everything's a little closer together, just so it looks a little bit nicer and more polished and not quite so awkward. So we're just going to, and again, you need to make sure you cover everything when you do this part. So don't worry, this part totally optional. I'm just doing it so it looks a little bit nicer. And then I'm just going to select everything again, and I'm just moving it over more towards the center. So now once you've moved it to where you want it to be and how you want it to look, you go to Path again, which is where you found Object to Path. You're going to click that, and right here, Union, this is like using Weld in Design Space, and it gets rid of all those cut lines, and it makes it all one item. So now what we're going to do is you go to Path again, and then you go all the way down here, right here, where you see Linked Offset, and you click on that. Now, before I do anything else so that you guys can see this easier, I'm going to just change the color. I'll make it something really bright. Does not matter what color you make it, because whatever color you make it, you can change it in Design Space. So then all you do is see this little diamond, grab that with your mouse and just drag it out. And sometimes you have to give it a second because it's a little bit slow. It just depends on your computer. Now we're using a really pretty pattern vinyl, so I want kind of a big offset on this. So we are going to do it like that. Now I want to take away some of these cut lines because you'll see there's these little small holes. So what you can do is select your cursor here, and you want to ungroup this so you can move your words out of the way, because otherwise if you try to move it, it's going to move everything sometimes. It's actually going to let me move my words only, so it's kind of nice. Sometimes I don't know why. It's just a weird thing. So we're going to get that completely out of the way. In Inkscape, there's a thing called nodes, and if you double click on your design here, you need to make sure that you've already made this, and I totally forgot this. So you need to change this to a path as well. So you have to go Object to Path, and that will give you, like, it'll show you all your little nodes. And you want to get rid of anything that's in the center, which I just draw like a square around them and just click Delete, and it gets rid of any of these weird little cut lines. So like you don't really need all these strange little cuts out of here because it's too much and it looks weird and it's going to be hard to cut on the machine. And it just depends on your font if you'll end up with a bunch of them or if you won't have any. But this one had a lot of like swirly twirlies in it and little pieces. So I'm going to get rid of a bunch of these little nodes. This is totally like optional. You don't have to do this. But I like to do it. I think it just looks better and it cuts easier because I don't have all these little tiny like spots where it's going to cut. Because like each node is kind of like tells it to cut. So if you wanted to like figure out if you want to get rid of some of like these little ones, you really don't need those. So that is what you should be left with. And then you're going to take your cursor. We'll bring this back over and just make sure it looks good. And I think it looks fine. So we're good there. So now what we need to do is you're just going to save it. And you're just going to click Save. It should bring up your folder that you want to save it in. You're just going to save it as an Inkscape SVG. So I'm just going to save this as Sunflower Offset so I can find it super easy in Cricut. So we'll go ahead and hit that, and we'll go over to Design Space and I'll show you how to load it. So over here in Design Space, we are using the desktop version of it. We're going to click on Upload, and this doesn't change from the desktop to like the regular original Design Space. Click Browse, and we're going to find it. We're going to search for Sunflower because I called it Sunflower Offset, and it's right here. So we'll click on that. And you'll see that it brings up your sunflower offset here. And I do see a little hole that I'm not sure that I like, and I may change it. I'll see what it looks like in Design Space. Sometimes this happens. You just don't notice it as much if it's in Inkscape. And we can easily fix it, and I'll show you a couple ways if I decide we don't like it. So it's going to come up pretty small, and that's totally okay. So we're going to make it way bigger. And yeah, I hate this. I think this looks weird now that I see it. So what we can do is we can try to contour it. And I'll show you real quick how to contour. So we need to ungroup it first because we only want to contour the offset part, which is this blue part. So select that, click on Contour, and we'll see if we can get rid of that little spot. And it sometimes takes a minute to like bring it up into your little contour option. So I'm just going to get rid of that little spot and see if I can get rid of it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. This one has like a lot of weird little things in it. So we're just going to see if by clicking all away from all these little weird things. this is not always like 100%, like I'm not perfect at this yet, but that's how you make one. So we'll get rid of those. I'm going to see if I can actually just weld something in there because I don't like it. It's bothering me. So we'll just weld the shape into it. It's super easy to fix these things if you make a mistake or if you don't like something. So I'm just going to put a circle over it, select both, and then just weld it, and that should get rid of it, and I just didn't like it. I think it looked weird. It's basically all there was to that. I just thought it looked weird, and I just didn't like it. So you could totally fix that before you got here. I just was trying to show you real quick. So this is what we are going to do. So simple as that, we are ready to cut. Now we do need to make sure that we size this, and we're putting this on that really fun metal bucket. So we're going to make sure that we have measured our space, because you don't want anything that is going to be too big, and you don't want it to be like really tiny either, because we do want to make sure we see that sunflower pattern, and this is just from the Dollar Tree, so it's nothing too crazy. But I think we're working with about 4 inches tall, and we can probably go as big as about 6 inches wide. So what I will do is I will just change this really quick to how high, and I know I'm about 4 inches, and we'll see how long that makes it, and then based on that alone, and this looks really small because I zoomed way out, so if I put this back at 100%, it looks like normal sized. But it's really long, so what I'm going to do is reduce the length on this and just change the length to about 6. And that way, you know it's going to fit, and it's already pretty much good to go. So we're going to cut the black part in white. So if you want to change this up just so you know what you're cutting, that's perfectly fine. We're going to do this in white, and I'm going to show you guys a really fun way to just see what your design is going to look like before you actually cut it. So because we're going to use a printed pattern vinyl, I'm going to change this over to print, and we are going to go over here into the colors and patterns, and I don't know if I've loaded this pattern yet. I have. We're going to use this sunflower pattern. It's really pretty, and we're going to let it see what it's going to look like, and look how cute that is. Now, this is not obviously going to be 100% to scale as far as your pattern is concerned, but it does give you kind of an idea of how cute it's going to look. So before you cut it, just make sure you change this back to no fill over here. And it doesn't really matter what color it makes it, because we're going to cut that on that pattern vinyl. And you can leave the pattern vinyl whole because you can layer on top of it. So let's click make it. I'll get this all cut out for you guys, and then we can get it weeded, and I'll show you guys how to apply it. The next thing that we need to do is put the transfer tape on, and it's super easy. We're going to put the transfer tape on to the white part and then place the white part onto our sunflowers. Now, I want to make sure that you guys know that these sunflowers cannot be found anywhere else, because these were hand drawn by the design team at 651 Vinyl, which I think is really cool. So they are one of a kind. And if you look closely, you can see there are some different styles of them. Some are dark, some are light. I just really like these. I think they're fun. But again, this is a exclusive new fall pattern for 651. And I think it's really cool. They've got a bunch of different new fall ones, which hopefully I will have remembered to show you at the beginning of the video. But if not, I will double check and make sure that you guys get to see those. But I love them. They're so fun. And again, hand drawn, which is great. So you're not going to find that pattern anywhere else. So you can see how simple, easy that was. And all we're going to do now is take this, and you just make sure you have it obviously facing the right way. And I cut so close right here, like there is just the tiniest sliver of space. So I'm going to trim my transfer tape down just a little bit. It's a little big on the bottom. I just kind of cut the edge off. So what we're going to do now is you're going to line up your white into your pattern. And I think, oh, and I realized I totally missed a spot when I weeded. I missed one of the E's. Hopefully I can get it off. Sometimes if you miss a spot, you can just get it off once you've placed it. Sometimes not, but we'll give it a shot. This is just proof that nobody is perfect, and I totally screwed up. So I'm going to see if I can just peel this back enough to get to that. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. If it's just one little spot, and this is for us at home, so it's fine. If I was doing this for a customer, I would totally fret and be really worried that I can't get this off. But if I can't, it's okay. But if I can, it'll be great. There we go. Look at that. See? Just gotta fight it a little bit, but that's okay. It comes off pretty easy. So you're just gonna squeegee it down or burnish, depending on what word you want to use. I hate the word burnish. I think it sounds weird. It makes me think of like Bernie's Mountain Dog. So then I always just flip mine over to peel my transfer tape off. And I'm gonna set that to the side. And we're going to get our bucket, and this is just a silver bucket from the Dollar Tree. It's actually from their Christmas collection, so I kind of love that it's from their Christmas collection. And I'm going to use my squeegee just to give it a little bit more of a surface to hopefully like stop rolling around. And if you guys see my watch continually going off, it's driving me nuts because I have one of my old heat presses on for sale, so people are bothering me all day. So all we're going to do now, and I'm totally, like, I just eyeball stuff to see if it's straight. I think I need to turn this a little bit more to get the handles straight. And all I'm going to do is just place it on. And the nice thing is with these patterns, it'll hide a lot of those, like, not so straight flaws. And especially with the offsets. And you can see how easy it is to do those offsets. Like I said, you don't even have to completely understand Inkscape to do them. You just follow those simple couple steps and you can absolutely do them. They're really easy. So we're just going to gently peel off our transfer tape. And I really like the pattern because it really does hold up really nicely. And if you guys don't know, this pattern stuff is printed on site at 651 vinyl. And also, it is done on just like a white, it's done on white Oracal 651. So you can treat it pretty much the same way. It's a permanent vinyl. It's super easy to use. And it comes in a ton of really pretty patterns. But I just like how that came out. I think that's really cute. It's super pretty. And it was so easy to do. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Hit the bell icon. That will alert you to when I post a new video. Have a great day and happy crafting.